When Sylvester Stallone stepped onto the set of First Blood, his physique was already something to admire, lean, ripped, and battle-ready. But when it came time to film Rambo, First Blood Part 2, the stakes changed. The producers didn't just want him to look good, they wanted him to look bigger, not just by a little, by 10 to 15 pounds of solid muscle. That kind of transformation usually takes months, maybe even a full year. But Stallone didn't have that luxury. His coach, the legendary Franco Columbu, was given a chilling ultimatum by the producers. If Sly can't pack on the muscle in just 8 weeks, he's out. Let that sink in. 8 weeks to transform an already ripped frame into something even more imposing, or lose one of the most iconic action roles of all time. In this video, I'll break down exactly how Stallone pulled it off. We'll talk about the hard truths, yes, like his steroid use. We'll reveal his intense training regimen, his no-nonsense diet, and most importantly, what you can do if you want to build a Rambo-worthy body, naturally and fast. So stick around. Of course, Rambo 2 wasn't the first time Stallone got himself into jaw-dropping shape. He looked solid in Rocky 1 and 2, no question, but it was Rocky 3 where things got serious. That's when Stallone decided to take his body to a whole new level, sharper, leaner, more shredded than ever before. And to get there, he pushed himself to the absolute edge. Here's what Stallone once said about his training for Rocky 3. "I wanted to get as lean as possible. I'd start the day with long cardio, usually jogging or swimming. Then I'd do 18 rounds of sparring. After that, I'd hit the gym for about 2 hours." That's not just intense, it's borderline insane. But that's Stallone. All in or nothing. And if you think that workout sounds extreme, wait until you hear what he was eating. At his absolute peak, when he was at his leanest, his diet was barely a diet. Tiny portions of oatmeal cookies, a few scoops of tuna, and, get this, up to 25 cups of coffee with honey every single day. Yeah, you heard that right, 25 cups. So, yes, Sly wasn't just disciplined. He might have been a little unhinged, but the results? Unreal. He walked into Rocky 3 with what many still say is his most shredded physique ever. And just as filming wrapped on Rocky, Stallone didn't rest. No time off, no cheat days. He dove straight into his next mission, what would become his second legendary film franchise, Rambo: First Blood. In Rambo: First Blood, you could tell Stallone had eased up a bit after the extreme diet and brutal training he put himself through for Rocky 3. He still looked strong, no doubt, but he wasn't as ripped or vascular as he was in Rocky III. And honestly, that worked in his favor. Not just for his health, but for the character of Rambo. A shredded, bodybuilding-level physique wouldn't have made much sense for a soldier surviving off the land. His slightly softer, more rugged look actually fit the role perfectly. Let's be real, trying to maintain the insane routine he used for Rocky 3 over a long stretch would have wrecked him. That kind of intense cutting and overtraining, it's a fast track to burning out your metabolism and messing up your body. After First Blood, Stallone took a break from playing ultra-jacked action heroes. But that break didn't last long. 3 years later, it was time to bring Rambo back for First Blood Part 2. Only this time, the expectations were sky high. About 2 months before filming, the producers reached out to Franco Columbu, Stallone's longtime trainer from the Rocky days. Their message was blunt. "We need Sly 10 to 15 pounds heavier, more muscle, more size, and if he can't pull it off in time, he's out." The clock was ticking, and the pressure, massive.
He called me and says, "Franco, I want to meet with you." He came over to the house and actually brought me a picture that he took from a magazine, from Muscle and Fitness magazine. And he says, "Franco, can Sly Stallone look like this?" I say, "Yes." I said, "But how long?" He says, "We got only 7 to 8 weeks time." And I said, "But this is much bigger than Stallone used to look like for Rambo 1. And he says, "Yes, we have in the script that he's 10 pounds heavier to 15 pounds. I said, "Okay, what about if he doesn't get to look like that?" And he says, "Oh, I will fire him." I said, "Wow, you know?"
It was a ridiculous demand. Even with solid genetics, most people can expect to gain 10 to 15 pounds of muscle over the course of an entire year of consistent training. And that's with help, yes, even with performance-enhancing drugs. But according to Franco, Stallone didn't use any for Rambo 2. We'll get into that a bit later. The idea of gaining that kind of muscle in just 8 weeks was next to impossible. Not long after Franco spoke with the producers, he got a late-night call from Stallone. It was urgent. Sly told him to come over immediately. Franco agreed. When he arrived, Stallone told him straight, "I want you to train me for Rambo 2. Franco was in. He said they'd start in 2 days, but Sly, knowing how intense this transformation had to be, wasn't having it. He looked him dead in the eye and said, "No, we're starting now." Franco was caught off guard, but he agreed and the grind began. They went back to a training style similar to what they used during Rocky III. Stallone trained 6 days a week, twice a day. More on that later. Sylvester was never big on heavy leg training, and since abs and shoulders are relatively small muscle groups, they're not nearly as taxing even when trained hard. Plus, keep in mind that this high-volume routine wasn't something he stuck with year-round. It was a short-term push, just 8 weeks, to fine-tune his physique for Rambo 2. This kind of plan isn't sustainable long-term, especially if you're trying to stay as lean as he was. Now, when it comes to the later Rocky and Rambo movies, there's not a ton of public info about his training or diet between roles. But judging by the fact that he kept getting bigger with each film, it's clear Stallone must have used his off-seasons to bulk up, probably at slightly higher body fat, and then cut down with intense training and a strict diet leading up to the shooting. So yeah, the program he followed definitely played a big role in helping him look the way he did in Rambo 2. But what really separated Stallone from everyone else was his relentless work ethic and laser-sharp focus. Once he committed to something, he saw it through. No excuses, no shortcuts. Stallone's full workout plan. Here is a step-by-step breakdown of Sylvester Stallone's Rambo 2 workout plan, high-volume 6-day split, focused intensity, twice daily training, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, morning, chest, back and abs, incline bench press, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, dumbbell flies, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, close grip bench press, 5 sets of 6 to 8 reps, wide grip chin-ups, 6 sets of 8 to 10 reps, one arm bent over lateral raise, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, seated close grip row, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, raised leg crunch, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, seated extension, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps Monday, Wednesday, Friday, afternoon, shoulders, arms and abs, military press, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, side lateral raises, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, bent over dumbbell flies, 5 sets of 6 to 8 reps, barbell curls, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, incline seated dumbbell curls, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, concentration curls, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, lying dumbbell raises, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, one arm bent over lateral raises, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, cable pull-downs, 3 sets of 10 reps, alternate leg raises, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, decline sit-ups, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, oblique crunches, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Morning, legs and calves, seated calf raises, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, standing calf raises, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, alternate standing barbell calf raises, 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps, incline leg press, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, barbell squats, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, seated leg extensions, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, leg curls, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, machine leg extensions, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, stiff leg deadlifts, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, afternoon, rear delts, traps and abs, rear delt dumbbell raises, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, cable crossovers, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, reverse pec deck flies, 5 sets of 8 to 12 reps, front barbell shrugs, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, barbell upright rows, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, flat bench cable rows to neck, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, ab crunches, 4 sets of 8 reps, oblique crunches, 4 sets of 10 reps, cable crunches, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Stallone's diet. Gone are the days when Stallone was running on 25 cups of coffee and sheer grit. These days, his approach to nutrition is a lot more grounded and honestly a lot more sustainable. In Sly Moves, Stallone highlights the importance of drinking plenty of water to stay energized and control hunger. He also recommends simple craving hacks like sugar-free gum or a banana and believes in allowing one guilt-free cheat day each week. So what did his diet actually look like during his Rambo 4, Rocky Balboa, and Expendables era? Here's a glimpse. Pre-breakfast, a glass of liquid aminos to kickstart the day. Breakfast, 3 egg whites, half a yolk, a bowl of Irish oatmeal, toasted pumpernickel bread, fresh papaya, and a few figs. Lunch, skinless broiled chicken, roasted summer squash, a salad, and figs or berries. Dinner, broiled fish, high-fiber toasted bread, more salad, and occasionally. All right, let's get to the question everyone's been wondering about. Did Stallone use steroids to transform for Rambo 2? According to his trainer, Franco Columbu, the answer is no, he didn't.
I wanted to make sure that everything we do, I'm aware, and I made one-page agreement. And when it got to the bottom, I wrote down that you cannot go to any doctor for any anything that affects the bodybuilding training, such as steroids or hormones, and without me knowing. And he says, I'm familiar what steroids do to bodybuilders. And I say, look, we have 7 weeks time, and I want you to understand, if somebody takes steroids, the steroids cause water retention, and you feel immediately getting bigger. That's water retention. And that's what the steroids do. They bulk you up, and then later you lose the water, and then you might get a definition again, but that might be too late for the move.
Franco didn't exactly say Stallone never used anything. What he said was nothing got past him. Still, the way he spoke definitely gave the impression that Stallone stayed clean. His main concern: steroids cause water retention, something they couldn't afford with filming just 2 months out. But here's the catch. That's not entirely accurate. Yes, some compounds like testosterone or HGH cause bloating, but others like Anavar don't. In fact, Anavar helps burn fat, preserve muscle, and doesn't hold water. It's been around since the 60s, so Stallone could have used it. Now, did he? Let me put it this way. If you had 8 weeks to gain 10 to 15 pounds of muscle or lose a multi-million-dollar role, and a legal doctor-approved compound could help, would you say no? Exactly. So while we can't confirm it, it's very likely Stallone used something mild like Anavar to stay lean and keep size. But gear or not, the man put in serious work, and with enough effort, most guys can still build something close to that Rambo 2 physique. Thanks for watching. If you found this inspiring, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone chasing their next level. See you in the next one.